Hello, I'm Brian Fox. Welcome to I Hate Rock Music, and I'm doing a batch of videos today because I haven't done any for a while, and I want to do a little catching up on some of these bands that I think are pretty interesting. I take some time to figure out which bands I want to do. As I mentioned in the previous video that I just did, I kind of stay away from records that I don't think are that satisfying or overrated or underwhelming or just not that good. You know, especially a lot of third tier bands. I was thinking about doing a video about the San Francisco band called Womb, who had two albums on Dot Records, and there's some really cool stuff on those two records. But I listened to them again, and I just decided I wasn't going to do a video on them because they're just kind of underwhelming. Even though there's some great moments on them, I want to stick to stuff that is going to have more merits and stuff that people are going to listen to and enjoy. So let's get to this band. They're called String Cheese, and they were around from 1971 to 1972, and really interesting band. I remember picking up the record and not sure what to think of it when I bought it in cutout bins about 1974, 75. That has a pretty cool cover, and so I wasn't sure what to expect. The cover made it look kind of dark, so it could have possibly been heavy, but I had no idea what to expect. And then I got it home, and it turned out to be a lot like, kind of like Jefferson Airplane or something like that. And I would suspect that a lot of people that like It's a Beautiful Day or Hot Tuna or Jefferson Airplane might really respond to this record. And I was really surprised when I did my research and found out they're from Chicago, so that makes the band all the more interesting. So the band was Gregory Block on violin, John Maggi on drums, Lawrence Wenzelken on 12-string guitar, Louis Constantino on bass, Sally Smaller on vocals, and William Dalton on guitar. And I hope I got all those uh, instrument assignments correct. Gregory Block is probably the only one that kind of went on to anything notable. He ended up actually joining It's a Beautiful Day on violin, although he was not nearly as good as David LaFlame on violin. So he was in It's a Beautiful Day, and then oddly enough joined the Italian prog band PFM. It was also in a jazz rock band back in the early 70s called Mark Almond, who have several albums available out there. But String Cheese kind of had the kiss of death because one, their music was so strange, and the fact that this was a band that sounded like they were from San Francisco, but actually were from Chicago, and they were on Wooden Nickel Records, and Wooden Nickel Records ended up being distributed by RCA, but the label itself didn't do that well and folded relatively quickly, as far as I understand. Oddly enough, the mega band Styx started out on Wooden Nickel Records, and so their local audiences got to hear them on Wooden Nickel Records back in the early 70s. But String Cheese is a pretty cool record. Gregory Block's violin playing is a little wavery sometimes. He doesn't have that great intonation, but overall, they do some interesting stuff. The arrangements are really interesting and complex. There's a nice dynamic range. There's a lot of points where it's solo guitar or more of isolated strings from the band, doing some really delicate parts that are really nice, very evocative. And Sally Smaller is a really cool singer. Doesn't sound anything like Grace Slick, but in the context of a band like String Cheese, she definitely bears some comparisons to some of the stuff that Jefferson Airplane was doing, and also the two vocals, the male vocals and the female vocals together, makes them sort of evocative of Jefferson Airplane as well. But I know a lot of people and reviewers seem to dismiss the record as being pretty unsatisfying, but I think it's really good. I think there's a lot of violin overdubs, so it's very violin dominated in a lot of parts. But in the fuzz guitar is relatively minimal. So a lot of it tends to be somewhat acoustic oriented, but a solid band, good rhythm section. Singer's really good, arrangements are cool. There's a lot of variety on it, and it's well worth hearing. And like a lot of these bands I talk about, unfortunately, there just isn't that much information on them. I try and do research to find out where some of the players ended up, and sometimes there just isn't a lot out there. But they're bands I want to talk about anyway, and get people's awareness of them. And then, of course, post the link below so you can check them out. So the link is below for String Cheese. Check them out. As I mentioned, if you like It's a Beautiful Day, if you like Jefferson Airplane, if you like Hot Tuna, if you like a lot of that San Francisco sound, or you like electric folk bands like Fairport Convention or something like that, I think there's enough here in the String Cheese record to interest you. But as usual, the music will speak for itself. The link is posted below. Check them out, String Cheese.